If you're planning on taking a cruise by yourself as a single passenger, you better call the cops because you're about to get robbed. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
We are the Sonic Boomers, talking about everything and anything. And on this edition of the Sonic Boomers, we're talking about a subject that usually gets us a lot of views, and that's the subject of cruising.
Exactly. One of our favorite things.
And very soon we're going to be taking a cruise ourselves. And here's where we made an interesting discovery. We were talking to a friend of ours who has never been on a cruise. And he said, "You guys are taking a cruise. Do you think I could go with you? Can I book a room?" So we said, hey, it's late, but it couldn't hurt to try. Well, he could get a room, but here's the rub.
It was crazy expensive. Now, Pete and I have a double occupancy room with a balcony, and all of our expenses included the gratuities, the taxes, the insurance, all that kind of stuff. It's costing us just a little over $1,600 for the two of us.
4 nights, 5 days.
Exactly.
Veranda, also known as a balcony stateroom.
Right. Now, our friend called up the cruise line and was told that for the same kind of accommodations, he was going to have to pay $3,900.
I'm telling you, call the cops because he's getting robbed.
When he hesitated and didn't say, "Oh, yeah, sign me right up,"
Yes.
they said, "Well, tell you what,
Yeah.
you're a nice guy.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to the manager and he's going to punch me in the nose, but you got a nice face. Let me see what I can do."
And they came down to, I think, $3,600.
Still too much.
Still too much. Two of us are traveling for, say, $1,600. He's paying the price of 4 people for one person.
Yeah.
So then we said, well, let's look at some of these other online sites that boast cheap cruises and things like that. So we tried a couple of them. And guess what? It was even worse. They wanted $4,200
For one person,
for one person.
4 nights, 5 days.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly the same cruise as we're taking as a double. Now, I understand that. I always knew that singles cost more than doubles. Even when you just book a regular hotel room, it's the same thing. But I had no idea that it was anywhere near that price.
So you might be asking, why does it cost so much more for somebody to travel singly? Well, this is what is called the single supplement, which is a surcharge that is added to the cruise fare for passengers traveling alone in a stateroom that is meant for 2 or more people. So this fee compensates the cruise line for the potential revenue loss when only one person occupies the cabin. Single supplements can vary, typically ranging from 50 to 100% of the standard fare, sometimes even a lot more than that, as we're going to point out to you, so keep listening. For example, if a cruise fare is, say, $1,000, that is often quoted as the per person price of the cruise. A solo traveler might pay an additional $500 to $1,000 or even more surcharge the single supplement.
Now, cruise lines base their pricing on double occupancy. They expect 2 people to share the cost of the cabin. When only one person's in the cabin, the cruise line misses out on potential onboard spending from a second guest, such as dining, excursions, entertainment. Now, in response to the growing number of solo travelers, some cruise lines are now redesigning their ships and offering cabins specifically designed for single occupancy and offering them at a slightly lower cost. Just know that they are really counting on people spending on all the extras. And if there's not a lot of people in the room, they're not making it on the extras.
So you're a solo traveler and you're saying, well, how am I going to take a cruise? I can't afford to do this. Well, there are some options, but I want to warn you, they sound good, but they are few and far between. So let's look at some of the options. There is the solo cabin that Maureen just mentioned. Some cruise lines, Norwegian, for example, Virgin Voyages, they have introduced solo cabins that don't require the single supplement, and that makes it a little more affordable if you're a single traveler. But yes, it is going to be a smaller room. There are promotions, so keep an eye out for special promotions or sales that come up from time to time. That could maybe save you 25%. Choose the right cruise line. Research your cruise lines. Look for the ones that are going to cater to solo travelers and offer you a lower, or maybe even they waive the single supplement. That too, at the end of the day, is going to save you money.
So there is a way around it.
There is a way. But
Sort of.
The thing to remember is that we had 2 years, 2020 and 2021, where we had pandemic. Nobody was cruising. The ships were docked. The cruise lines for 2 years were essentially out of business. So they took a big bite of the crap sandwich. Mm-hmm. Cruising came back first slowly, and then you could get maybe a good price. But since then, cruising has come roaring back big time. The price of cruising across the board is going up. And the cruise lines, in order to make up for the money that they lost, have cut staff, they've cut services. Some of the experience, if you're a seasoned cruiser, you're going to notice this right away, that it's not quite the deluxe experience that it used to be because of the cuts that have been made. If you're a new cruise traveler, you're probably not going to notice it. But for those of us who've done it for a while, it is a noticeable and not a good change. So if you're going to be booking a cruise, let's say you want to book for August of 2026. I strongly suggest that you do it now, because come later in 2026, very good chance that that cruise is booked and you can't get on. Mm-hmm. And if you have special needs, right?
Right.
That's even tougher.
Right, because there are only a limited number of those kind of rooms available, so they go fast.
We did a little bit of research, and there was one guy, he's a writer for Forbes.com. His name is Roger Dooley. What did he do?
Now, he did some research, and he found an 8-day Caribbean cruise on the Celebrity Reflection. Now, this is a veranda cabin, the balcony cabin. It was going to be $1,461 per person if you did the double occupancy. Okay? That would be $2,922 for two people in the cabin. Not bad.
No, that's pretty decent.
The single traveler price, hold on to your hats, was $4,346. That's $1,400 more than the double occupancy price, and it's like $2,800 more than the single price.
Stick up highway robbery.
So we thought, well, maybe this was a one-off. We found a cruise, May the 10th through 17th in 2026. It's a cruise to Bermuda, onboard Celebrity Silhouette veranda room, $1,117 per person, $2,234 for the double occupancy. Single traveler price is $2,205. The single supplement charge came out to over $1,000, $1,088.
Yeah. But the problem is, and here is something for you to comment on below. The cruise lines know that you have very few choices. If they're all charging a single supplement, it's very hard for you to find the across the street to go to. And they know that people that are traveling single are prepared to take a little bite of that sandwich that we talked about. Mm-hmm. That, well, okay, this is the cost of doing business. But at what point do single travelers say, screw this? Yeah, okay, I'll pay $1,000 more. I really don't want to, but if I really want to take this cruise, I got to do it. But when you're paying $2,000 and $3,000 more for the cruise, you've got to have a point where you say, forget it.
Right.
Forget it. And loyalty is so much a part of the cruise business. There's people that cruise Carnival. God bless them. And that's all they want to cruise. Because Carnival is a very affordable cruise line. Just so you know, if you're traveling Carnival, there are issues of which you should be aware. There are brand loyals. There's people that, like you and I, we really like celebrity. And we do a lot of celebrity. We've tried Norwegian. We weren't crazy about it. We've tried, we're going to try Royal Caribbean. We'll see how it goes. But they rely a lot on repeat business. Well, what kind of repeat business are you going to have when the price of the cruise is going up and up and up? The services are less and less and less. The quality is getting to be less and less. Oh, and yeah, by the way, you're screwing over the single passengers. Comment below. Where do you think this is going to take the cruise industry?
And at what point, what's the tipping point for you?
Yeah.
When does it get to be too much?
How much more are you willing to pay as a single cruiser to take that voyage?
Royal Caribbean is the owner of the Celebrity Cruise Lines also. In 2023, the per passenger ticket revenue on an average cruise was $165 a day. Now, that's not where they're making their money. The onboard spending average was $86 per day per passenger, and that's where they're making their money.
It's like when you go to the movies.
Right.
The cost of your ticket doesn't cover the operation of the theater. Where they make the money is on selling you the overpriced drinks, popcorn, candy.
Concession stand stuff, yeah.
They really rake you over the coals on that, but that's where they make their money. Same thing on the cruise ship. It's not the price of the ticket where they're making the money. It's on the stuff that you spend on board.
Right. The ticket is to lure you on, and then they hope that you are going to spend hilariously.
If you want something hilarious, try getting a drink package. The drink package is ridiculously expensive. And unless you've got a real drinking problem, said the guy with a glass of wine in front of me here on the show, but I'm only going to have like one of these today. If you're the guy that is spending thousands of dollars on a drink package, and it's only, by the way, for one person, it doesn't cover your party. If there's 2 or 3 of you in your party, you each have to buy the drink package.
And if one of you has it, you all have to.
Yeah.
It's not like you could say, well, one can do the drink package and the other ones will buy a la carte. It doesn't work that way.
Just like the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi prices are crazy. You know what? I don't care if I have Wi-Fi or not on a cruise. I'm almost glad that I don't. Don't bother me.
But, you know,
I'm on vacation, I'm on a cruise. Don't bother me.
But some people are working.
Yes, they are.
On their cruise and they need it.
Yeah.
Or they are YouTubers other than us, make their living by their YouTube channel, and they are producing content.
Like Tony Barnett,
right?
Who actually has viewers compared to us.
So that's why there's such a push, is that's where they're going to make their money. They know that 2 people are going to spend more than 1 person.
Yeah, because the cost of running that ship, it's going to be the same. Whether the room has 1 person in it or 2. There's certain things that just aren't going to change. The price of the fuel, maintenance, salaries for the crew, what the cruise line has to pay for food and beverage, items in the gift shop. All of those prices are kind of like built in.
They're pretty much set, yeah.
If you're thinking about taking a cruise, really, now is the time. If you're going next summer, now is the time to book it. Because you might be SOL if you wait until the last minute. And I'm sorry, if you are traveling alone, you better find a buddy to go with you.
Yeah.
And make it a twosome or more. And it's going to be a better deal for you, because if you're traveling alone, you're really kind of getting screwed. And we love you, cruise industry, but you guys are really screwing some people over. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Sonic Boomers podcast. If you found this informative or entertaining or any way like nice, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our podcast, and make sure that you ring the notification bell, because what happens?
Because then you get notified anytime a new episode comes out.
And we know you all can't wait for the next one. And until that time, you see how I worked into that?
You did.
We are the Sonic Boomers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
Goodbye. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Sonic Boomers podcast.